and I'll mute myself.
So the best way I like to do these calls is I like to keep them open. So I just like to answer questions, and then, we find a spot that we target, and then we rock it out, man. Doesn't have to be overly complicated, but I'm more interested in what, everybody else, and, what they want to know, and how they feel, and that's it. I don't want this to be all centered around me. I want it to be kind of open. One of you guys can funnel the questions or whatever you want to know. That way, we can cover as much as possible.
So yeah, I can facilitate the questions. I already have one. So Erin Hopkins, who's actually one of the test group participants, she wants you to talk about your story, and then the next question is about the food plan, so that should get you started.
All right, what about my story? This story is like so long. What was the...
Any specifics? You guys, like, okay, so maybe, I don't know.
I was kind of curious, like, how on earth did, like, you get involved in Beachbody? Like, I heard Carl found you, but, like, how did you and Beachbody collide?
Well, it was, Carl, have you guys seen his Malibu property yet? Oh, it's crazy. It's amazing. So he has this, it's surrounded by the mountains, and it's just like 50 yards of football turf. It's just, there's cactuses and all kinds of stuff around it. It's beautiful. So I guess, the story that was told to me is he was out, just kind of running on the property a little bit on the football field, and he had this thought, like, man, it would be cool to do, a workout program outside. So then he went to it, I guess when he got to the office or home, he went on the computer and he Googled workouts on turf. And one of my videos popped up of me training my son. And he said it kind of moved him. And then he watched the video, obviously, and then he went to my channel. And that's when he saw all my stuff. And then they kind of like, looked at all my other social media outlets, and then kind of held off for a little bit. And then finally, last May 23rd, actually, Heather Church called. She left me a voicemail, and I'm thinking, what they calling me for? And so I called her back, and then she said that they were thinking about doing an outside training program, and that they wanted to make me the face of it. And so I was like, okay. And she asked if I was interested in coming to California to talk to him. So I flew out there, and still I didn't really know, where I fit in the whole, the dynamics of the team, because it's so different. And I kind of come from a bit of a different background. So it was like 15 people in a room, and they kind of, just kind of shared the story and what they had in mind. So the Shift Shop, the original name was called OCD. It was Outdoors with Chris Downing. And so it was supposed to be an outdoor program. But what happened was they were trying to find a syncing device that you can use outside that I could still coach the same way, the Shift Shop is now, and then do it outside. But they kept running into interferences with like sirens and just outside disturbances. And so Carl, after trying a couple of different things, they didn't know if they wanted to use goggles or, different earpieces. And so Carl was like, you know what, let's just scratch this for now. I don't want to put Chris on the shelf. Let's make it a 21-day program, bring it inside. We'll figure this out later. And so they called me in October and was like, so we want to bring this indoors, and he wants to release it next year. So we had like no time to get this done. And so they said, you want to run a test group in Ohio? And because I have my own production stuff, he said, you can film it and we can go back and forth, or you can come to LA. I said, I'm out of here. So I went to my gym. I have 2 gyms here at home, and I needed a break anyway. I needed to get away. And so they got me an apartment in Marina Del Rey. I was out there for 4.5 months, and we created a program, Elenit, myself and Jack and Stephanie. And that was it. And the thing about it is we created it so fast. And like Elenit and I had at least two of the programs, like 2 of the actual workouts done in like 13, 14 minutes. We just kind of it was just everything was perfect. And so me coming from training pro athletes here at home, and then, other high school, college athletes. I went into it completely humble, like open-minded, because this was a new ball. It was a new, area for me. And I didn't want to go in there I wanted to be open-minded and learn. So I took a step back. They kind of gave me the skeleton, and I just started placing my personality in it. And it was so easy, guys. It was effortless. So, yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. So people want to know about the meal plan. I feel like it's kind of a boring question because it's the same as a lot of the Beachbody meal plans, but is there anything specific? I mean, I know that you do high fat. Is there anything you want to talk about with nutrition?
So the nutrition plan, it kind of came from the philosophy I used. Prior to this, I did a lot of modeling and acting. So it kind of, when I was a month out from a photo shoot, I would just go to this rigorous eating plan. And like 4 weeks, I would just get shredded. And so I kind of stumbled on like the idea of it was just so powerful, because what happened is I would just cut my carbs completely cold turkey. And so like 8-9 days into it, I started getting the shakes, started getting headaches, I started getting emotional, and just different things was happening. Like over a period of time, I was like, man, why am I feeling like this? But the good thing is I always had that goal. I knew that in 4 weeks I had to get in front of that camera, so I had to be at my best. So that was always my focus. Like, you know what, despite this is before I actually broke down what was really happening. I just said, you know what, you just got to gut this out, dude, because you only get one shot from this camera. I mean, you got to sell this product. So I would just really dial in and focus on my goal, which was that shoot. But what really did it was a time I did it and it really made sense to me. I'm thinking, why is it that any other time I don't feel like this? But the 8th, 9th, 10th day, like I'm ready to shank people. I'm emotional. I'm just irritable. I have headaches. And I think my body is pouting. Why is my body pouting? And it really clicked to me because I'm a very intuitive person. I started really looking in myself. I'm thinking my body is pouting because it's uncomfortable. Like I left my comfort zone. So I started really getting mental with it. I'm thinking, okay, if I left my comfort zone and I have this goal on the other side of this discomfort, what's really happening? So then I realized that after that, 9th, 10th, 11th day, all of a sudden my brain was more clear. I had more energy. How do I have more energy without carbs? Like what was really happening? My body was complacent. It was used to like controlling me, controlling my mind, controlling my emotions, controlling the direction of my life. But when I started on the other side of it, when I started getting more energy, clear thoughts, my skin complexion got better. All of a sudden, and then the other perks was my body just started changing rapidly. I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is a good thing. I made a shift. Like this is a shift in mindset. But what was crazy was the closer I got to my shoot, the more confident I got. So that resonated on the camera. So then, ignorantly, not calling myself ignorant, but not knowing what I was really doing. After the shoot was over, I'd go back to my old ways, but I would see pictures of me in that element. Like, I like that guy. You know what I mean? But I just without a problem went right back to my old ways. And then I would just repeat the cycle every time I had shoots. So when I sat down with Denis, he asked me, he said, what do you do when you need to get in shape? I told him. But obviously the way I went about it was just so rough on the common person. And I didn't want to break anybody. I didn't want anyone to give up. So what we did is we kind of did it in the form of a cycle. You start out with the first week, and Candace will tell you, like, start on the first week, and Morgan too, and you too, Amy. We start out the first week with carbs, and then eat, the second week we drop a little bit, and that third week, I'm surprised none of y'all filed for divorce. That third week, like, it's like, whoa, this is serious. But look at everybody's results, man. Look how everybody feel. So that's kind of where the meal plan comes from. It's kind of like cutting carbs. You don't go without, but basically it's the starchy stuff. You're still getting fruits and things like, and greens, but it's just the starches, which you don't really need anyway.
I think, if you don't mind me saying something quick,
No.
I think first, like, that I would like to hear maybe you talk about, like, something. So as you're getting into the Beachbody world and hearing us coaches, one of the 4 vital behaviors that we do every day is personal development. Mm-hmm. So personal growth, we're always working on that. And you have brought this right into our living room every single day. And that has been huge. Like it's not just a fitness program and a nutrition program. It's like a personal development program that you've brought in to it. So I don't know if you can talk a little bit about to that. I mean, that, you know, when it being in the test group with you, you took us through all your movie posters and what you've learned in that. And so like, that was just so like, you know, and just bringing that to us is going to be a blessing for the masses. So you can talk a little bit to that. That'd be cool.
So Carl, I'm telling you, Carl, I mean, you guys know him a lot better than I do, but I really got to know him in this process. And he came up to me at the shoot, actually, and he was like, how you feel? I said, I'm ready to go. He said, let me tell you something. He was like, you know why I chose you for this? And I was like, I mean, not really. He was like, I chose you because of who you are. The same person I saw on YouTube is the same person you need to deliver in this project. It ain't going to work if you're not Chris Downey. And I mean every part of you. So I'm thinking, you know, I read this book called The Purple Cow. You guys ever read that? Okay, that's your homework assignment. Before Summit, and I will see some of you at Summit, everyone has to read The Purple Cow. And basically with The Purple Cow, look at Amy. So The Purple Cow is dope, guys. That's where I got my training style from. I told Carl that in the meeting. It's by Seth Godin. So basically, The Purple Cow, he starts out in the book talking about if he's riding down a country road for 10 or 20 miles or something like that, and he looks off, he sees a bunch of black and white cows, right? And he says to himself, oh, wow, you know, those cows are cool, whatever. But after 20 miles, those cows become boring, right? Kind of leaves your mind. But if you see a purple cow in the midst of those black and white cows, you'll never forget about it because it's significant. So there's billions of trainers in this world, right? And I kind of like sat back and I kind of navigated, okay, what makes me different? Or what do I want to be different? Well, first of all, it was never about money because I was putting videos on there based off, I started putting videos on there because of my uncle. You know, I was hurting. I needed to release this pain. So it was always about sharing my gift with the world. And so I wanted to bring my personal life experiences into my training because that's relatable to every human being in this world. What do I mean? All of us dealt with depression. All of us have dealt with anxiety. All of us have dealt with failures, setbacks, betrayal, all those different things. So I started integrating that passion, that things I've been through into my training to empower other people. Because when I was at my most broken state, guys, I'm talking about on an island by myself. People left me just crushed. I never wanted another human being to feel as bad as I felt. You see what I'm saying? I always told myself, if I had the opportunity to train anybody, my number one goal is to make sure they leave better than I found them, period. I got 45 minutes to change this person's outlook on life. I have an hour, I have 30 minutes. In the Punta Cana thing, I would say a prayer before I went on stage. I said, you know what? Tomorrow's not promised. I got 30 minutes to pour out my soul on these people, and whatever happens, happens. And that's all that happens. I allowed my gift to go before me, and I stepped out of the way because I've said it time and time again, this is way bigger than me. So to answer your question, Nicole, the personal development part of it is the purple cow. I'm not doing this for me. Like, this is bigger than me. There's a bunch of you coaches that are just going through things personally, you know, building your teams, just within your bodies, in your mind. And all I want to do is fulfill my life purpose in Beachbody, and that's to empower, love, and inspire each person right where they are. You see what I'm saying? And pour out my soul into them and to tell them, guess what? I believe in you. I don't care who don't believe in you. I believe in you. I love you. I care about you. I want what's best for you. And it just kind of like integrated itself into my training style. So I don't know. I mean, it's a gift, man. This is way bigger than me. I don't know. So what's the next question?
So, okay, so there's a lot of questions. And so, let's see.
Actually, do you mind if I pop in and ask a question, Amy, while you're checking?
Yes, go.
Okay, so Chris, there's a lot of coaches that see us getting our butts whooped, okay? And they're like, I can't do that. Because we're not sugarcoating it and saying that this is easy. This isn't easy. And, you know, I really want you to explain to everyone that anybody can do this. There is a modifier and all of that. Like, it will be challenging, but now you can finish that.
First, I love when people say that because immediately they expose their fear. So first of all, what are you afraid of? This is a workout program. Did you die? Like, what are you really afraid of? So when I hear a person say something like, you know, they're afraid, in my mind, I don't look at it as they're physically afraid to do it. I look at it as they're afraid to be great. They're afraid to come in contact with that best self. The same way I challenge all of you guys. This isn't about me. It is not about me at all. It's about the old you versus the new you. It's about the complacent you versus your dreams and goals individually. Everybody found their own shift in the midst of this program for whatever you needed it to be. You see what I'm saying? So I would tell them, first of all, what are their dreams and goals? What do you want for yourself? Obviously, if they have that fear-based mentality, it's because of setbacks and failures and things that they're afraid to dream again. They're afraid to believe the unexpected. They're afraid to believe in themselves, right? So the first things first, you got to hold their hand. You got to hold their hand. You know, when you do the program, do the modification. But at the same time, as you guys see all throughout that program, I'm talking to you all the time. You'd have to be deaf or mute not to even feel that. You see what I'm saying? And it's about not judging yourself. Like, when we create this program, when we all sat together, I said, this has to be for everybody. Like, if I have to single out a certain group of people, I don't want to do it. I don't care how successful it can make me. If I can't do this for every single human being, then I don't want to do it. Just like when we filmed, this is the craziest thing ever. I took a crazy leap of faith. You guys are familiar with the Key Art shoot, right? So the Key Art shoot is the DVD cover and all the assets you guys use for the test group. So I got really lean for the Key Art shoot. Shot the pictures in December 2nd, and I had essentially 6 weeks left before we actually shot the project. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm about to really get ripped. But then my purple mind, that purple cow hit my head again. It came to me. I woke up a week later and I was like, you know what? Every fitness program and out there, the trainer is super ripped. To a person that needs to lose 80 pounds, that's unrealistic. They're going to think I just eat carrots and celery all day. You see what I'm saying? It's unrealistic to them. So what I did is I went to one of the employees at Beachbody. I said, I'm ready to throw a curve on this project. He said, what's that? I'm about to gain some weight. What do you mean? I said, dude, I don't want to be the most fit person on this video. I don't. We need to cast people that's in better shape than me so that I can represent every fitness level in this program. We already have the modifier. We're overweight. I didn't want it to be about my body. I didn't want it to be about my looks. I wanted it to be about my gift. And so if I can get in the midst of everybody else, let someone else get the attention of how they look, then the gift can surface and perform what it's supposed to perform. You see what I'm saying? I wanted it to be about me motivating you, not about me having abs. I wanted it to be about me inspiring and loving you, not about me being ripped. You see what I'm saying? I didn't want that. And so I did it, and it worked. It really worked. But if you look in the video, I was like the third most in shape person. I'm not an insecure person. I was okay with that. In fact, when we filmed in rehearsal, I pulled everyone together and I said, listen, because everyone was in this all like Chris Downing, like they were just stiff. I said, listen, this ain't gonna work if you guys don't own this. This is bigger than me. This isn't about me. On the other side of that camera is millions of people. With every emotion you're feeling during rehearsal, and during filming, you need to let it out. If you want to scream, scream. If you want to crack jokes at me, crack jokes. I need you to be you, because on the other side of that camera is going to be a reflection of each of us somewhere, and it needs to be relatable to everybody. So I want you to own this for yourself. I can't do this by myself. And when I told him that, as you guys can see, we had so much fun, man, in that video. Yes, it's challenging, but there's so much humor and so much encouragement in it, you almost forget about how challenging it is. You see what I'm saying? Everyone pushes for themselves. So, yeah, the whole project is just, I'm just blown away by it, guys. I really am, man. I kind of went too far with that, didn't I? What's the next question? Yeah. Okay. Now what? Someone help me out here?
Yeah, I'm looking. If any of the leaders have any questions.
So look, I want to go into something really, really personal. You guys want me to go into something personal? Like, I want to go like real deep. Like, you want to really see? This is crazy. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm just gonna say it. You want to know why this project is performing the way why it's performing? So, all right, brace yourself. I'm gonna go in there, like in there. And then when I get done telling you this story, you're gonna understand why the Shift Shop is so powerful. 2 years ago, I got in trouble over something I didn't even do, right? So basically what happened was, there was a certain person who had some drugs sent from California to Ohio, right? So in this home, in this building, you walk through the building, to the left, my son and his mom lived there. But if you walk to the right, the apartment to the right was vacant, right? And so what happened was this person was moving into that vacant apartment, right? And so allegedly, they told whoever sent it to put it in the person's name who moved out of there because they moved out of state. So I'm over there visiting my son and his mom, and this package shows up, and it has my son's mom's name on it. So I look at the package. I never physically touched the package, guys. I never physically. Now, mind you, I am an extremely popular dude in my town. I trained all the pro guys. I had high school teams. I had all the college kids. My gym was rocking. I mean, it was just a busy place. So the police show up and they're like, "Do you know what's in this box?" And I'm like, "No." And they ask my son's mom, "Do you know what's in the box that's in your name?" She's like, "No, I don't know what's in the box." So she pulled her to the side. There's drugs in this box. So immediately it looks like I'm there. She's there. It's in her name. It looks like I put it in her name. So they were going to take my son's mom to jail. So I said, "Wait a minute. What's in the box?" He said, "There's marijuana in this box." I said, "It's mine." He said, "So you're admitting that it's yours?" I said, "It's mine. I'm the only person there. I'm not letting my son's mom go to jail, guys. It's over something I didn't even know what it was." So I said, "You know what? It's mine." He said, "Do you realize who you are in this community? If you say we got to arrest you," I said, it's mine. You saying it's yours? Absolutely, it's mine. So they took my cell phones. They had my phones for 5 days. They found zero trace of drug activity on my phone. Zero trace. Now here's the thing. They come to my house, go through my house, nada. I said, "All I'm asking is my daughter's going to get out of school. Can I please just talk to my daughter?" They let me talk to my daughter. They took me to, it's the first time in my life I've ever been in trouble, right? I get down there. He said, "Something just isn't meshing with this story, Chris." They had me in an interrogation room. I can't even give these guys a name, whose this is. He said, "You mean to tell me you don't know?" I said, "Dude, I'm sorry. I was stuck, but you admitted it was yours." I know I said it was mine, but I couldn't give him a name. So he walked out of the interrogation room, goes to his boss, comes back. He said, "You know what? I'm going to try to get you out of here on a signature so it doesn't hit the public." I said, "Would you please do that, man? Because this is a ruin my life." So he went back out, talked to his boss's boss. He said, "Absolutely not. He's a public figure booking." Oh, my goodness. I'm in the holding cell for 8 hours. I bonded out. I get out the next day. Complete mayhem in my community. They got me in a newspaper. Oh, my gym phone, my everything is just chaotic, right? So this is where it gets heavy. Now I'm about to really share something with you guys. So now the first thing I'm thinking about is my uncle's dream. Someone asked, "What's your story?" I'm about to give you the story. I'm thinking about my uncle's dream. I just ruined it, right? So I get out, I go to court, and right after that, I had a guy who used to do all my videos for me. He called me. He said, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. I love you like a brother, but I can no longer do your videos. I can't be affiliated with you." I'm trying to tell this guy, "Dude, it's not, I can't say it, but I'm trying to say it," right? And so, because it's still investigation going on. I said, "Okay, no problem." Guys, I did not know how to edit. I didn't know how to film. I didn't know how to anything. By this time, my son's mom moved back into my place with me because she saw what I was going through. She said, "You know what? I got to be around you." And so, I got up the next day. She said, "Where you going?" I said, "I'm going to Best Buy." She said, "Why?" I said, "I'll be back." I went to Best Buy. I bought a whole production. I bought everything, cameras, didn't know how to use anything. The only thing I knew how to do was hit power. That's it. I didn't know how to use any of it. Came home, called this guy. I said, I didn't know if I was going to prison. I didn't know if I was going to be on probation. But what I had to do is, this is my man cave. I bought every single picture frame from the time I was a child that had an impact on me. because I'm a person of influence. I'm a motivator. But the crazy part about it is I never had, and the only person who ever motivated me was dead, was my uncle. So I bought every picture frame of every movie that's ever moved on me. And I needed to be surrounded by it because I knew I was about to go through hell, right? So my daughter goes to school. She's a senior. We live in a really nice area, so it's not a lot of blacks there, and so she's immediately getting bullied. Oh, your dad's a drug dealer. That's why you drive that car. That's why he has those gyms. This is all a front. She's looking like, you don't understand. Like, that's not my dad. She's like, Dad, tell him the truth. I said, sweetheart, they're not gonna believe me. Now the person who should have been responsible for it, he comes to me like, dude, just let me go to the police and say it was me. I said, they're never gonna believe you because of who I am. They're gonna think you're trying to cover for me. I gotta eat this, man. So my daughter sat down, she bawled her eyes out. She said, Daddy, what are you gonna do? Like, if you go to prison, I'm gonna lose it. She was like, what are we gonna do? I said, sweetheart, look at me. We have no choice but to rise above this. That's it. How? I said, I have no idea, but we gotta rise above it. So they have these apps on, like, you can get on your phone where you can choose a phone number. I can call you, I can text you, but you can text me back, but you can't call me back. And they're not traceable unless it's a threat, like it's like they're threatening my life. So all of a sudden she started getting all these phone calls from people saying, I'm gonna send drugs to your house. I'm gonna get your dad in more trouble. My daughter spazzes out, just loses it, right? All of a sudden her grades is dropping. My court case is in 2 months. She's just becoming unglued. She's a daddy's girl. I raised her by myself since she was 2 months old, right? So anyway, she didn't do her chores one day, and I told her, I said, listen, honey, if you don't do your chores, I'm gonna have to ground you from your car. So she was just already in the wrong state of mind. She got mad at me, went to her grandma's house, got another text message saying there's drugs being delivered to your pop's house. Your dad's gonna get in trouble. So my daughter just panicked, didn't know what to do, went to the pharmacy, bought some extra strength Tylenol, went into her grandma's bathroom, turned the water on, turned the music on, took 35 extra strength Tylenol. Get this, her grandpa just happened to come home, knocked on the door. No, and can hear the music. Ray, are you in there? Are you in there? Nothing. So he goes downstairs, asks his wife, is Raven in the bathroom? Raven don't take baths. Yeah, she's in the bathroom. Goes in there again. Grandpa has to use a bathroom, honey. Peeked the door. My daughter's laying unresponsive, unconscious on the side. If he had been 5 minutes later, my daughter would have been dead. They rushed her to the ICU, couldn't help her, rushed her to the children's hospital, pumped her stomach. She was in the ICU for 4 days. So people thought it was because of me. I got more persecution, more ridicule, more people turned their back on me. I have mentors who I love with all my heart. I'm trying to tell these guys, listen, there's so much, I can tell you the truth. Cut me off, wouldn't even talk to me, betrayed me, nothing, right? Now I'm in this state. My daughter's in the hospital fighting for her life. I'm in my house, my gyms are falling apart. I went completely broke. When I say broke, I mean broke. So what I did was, over the course of the next couple of months, I started coming up with ideas for YouTube. And so I called this guy, had this equipment. I said, dude, I need a favor, man. I know that people think I'm a drug dealer, think I'm a bad person. Can you please put some fillers out and ask if someone is willing to come to my house and teach me how to film and edit? Please, please. One guy said, absolutely, I have no problem. I'll go help. He came to my house for 3 months, twice a week. Guys, get this. The very first video that I ever did, filmed and edited, was the video that Carl saw that signed me to Beachbody. So this is what I'm telling you, this is crazy. So what happened is right before that happened, it was December 2016. It was right after Christmas. I was so lost, guys. I'm talking about depressed, just broken down. I wrote a letter to myself and I named it My 2016. It was going into 2016, I'm sorry. And I wrote it said My 2016. I took every aspect of my life and I wrote what I wanted to happen. And in my career, I put in the letter that I would partner with a company via social media, YouTube, Facebook, and do something really great. 5 months later, Beachbody called. But here's what was happening from December 30th, 2015 till May. I was still dealing with no money, betrayal. That was in my physical life. I had to wake up every day just to muster it up, just to go to the gym and train my clients. So every time I got down, I would read that letter to myself as if it was already happening. I had to create the emotion as if my life was the way it is right now. I had to create hear me out now, I had to create the emotion based off this piece of paper that wasn't going on in my physical realm. I had to bring the excitement like I was really living it. After doing that a couple of times, all of a sudden, I noticed how it had an effect on my emotions. So after repeat, I would do it at night. Every time I got down, I would do it. I would read this letter to myself. And in the morning, first things I wanted to set my date with that same intention. And so it started happening so much, things started attracting to my life that was reflected in this paper. All of a sudden, it clicked that what was going on in the physical was temporary. What's on this paper is my real life. It's developing right in front of me. Lonnie, I'm by myself. People think I'm crazy. I said, you know what? I'm going to be crazy. I have nothing to lose. I'm already rock bottom. I might as well believe in this paper because I already know what happens if I don't. It's just going to be more of what's going on. And I couldn't stomach it. So what happened is I continued to read this paper to myself every single day, man. Beachbody called out of nowhere. When they called, I said, this shit works. I knew it. I knew it worked. I mean, it was like, I was like, what? So the reason why they didn't call me in December is Carl, this is how powerful and why I'm giving my all to this company and giving my all to you guys. Now I'm telling you the truth now. Why I must never lie to you, but I'm just giving you the insight so you really know why I do what I do and the effort and the passion I do it. Carl found out about my charge and said, you know what, let's just watch him for a couple months and see the content he posts on social media. So there was employees from Beachbody that liked my gym pages. I get hundreds of those a day, so I don't go and see who it is. They watch me, guys, for 5 months to see the content I posted on social media, saw that it was all positive and didn't really reflect that charge. And so Heather asked me, she said, before we turn you into a superstar, is there anything about your past we should know? And I told her. I just told her what happened because I'm not a liar. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. And what's the worst that can happen? You're going to hang up and I'm going to be in the same situation. But if I tell you the truth, maybe you guys will have a little sympathy. Carl sent a message and was like, I have no judgment. Put it behind him. Send him out here. So what happened was I got the contract. It took a couple of months. I went to the judge at 3 years probation. The judge let me off probation 2 years early. Here's the crazy part. When I got in trouble, right before I got in trouble, I took my kids to a little restaurant called Piata. And there was a long line of people ordering food. I got my kids' food. I left a $100 bill on the counter. I said, pay for everybody's food in this line. Just don't tell them who did it. One of the meals I bought was the judge and her husband and didn't even know it. She said, I can't send him to prison. He bought my dinner. Something's not right about this story. You see what I'm saying? So when I took the contract to her, she let me off probation. And everything's been cleared. Now my whole community is embracing the hell out of me right now because they think that this is a redemption story. But with deep down inside, guys, I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt because all the people who didn't know, who I thought really knew me, they did me wrong. Like I was broken. So now all this hurt and all this stuff that I'm expressing in the Shift Shop, in Punta Cana, was stuff I dealt with when I was saying, all the things that were coming out of my mouth was me crying out to try to empower you guys where you are in your situation, let you know I'm not letting y'all stay where you at. You coming out of this right now because I don't ever want any of you guys to feel the way I felt. That's why the Shift Shop is so powerful because I took that same emotion to the project. It has nothing to do with, it has everything to do with what I went through. I'm just a trainer, guys. You put a bunch of dumbbells and markers, any trainer can tell you to do that, but can any trainer engage with each and every person at their fitness level where they're at? That's why I'm different. That's what the Purple Cow represents because I have all passion and I'm pouring this from my soul. There's your story. So chew on that for a little bit. So in case you Google me and you see a mugshot, that's my cousin. That ain't me. No, that's the story. That's what happened.
So, I mean, I'm like crying. So basically how you react to things is the only thing you can control. You can't control what happens to you, it's how you react to things. So if you had some words of wisdom to give coaches, because I know that when coaches are building their social media and they're building their success and they want to be public figures and they want this following, a lot of times you deal with a lot of negativity, passive aggression, judgment, start to get successful, then people judge you for that. You're making money, you must be greedy, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
by going through that, I know you said the Purple Cow and all of this, it's personal development and it's mindset, but how did you just like naturally know just to like use the law of attraction and to use positivity and PMA and be totally like, just like, act as if, how did you know to take control of your mindset and how to respond to it rather than just being like, screw it, I'm just going to go sit in my basement and watch Rocky and eat popcorn. Like, how did you know to like lean into it and to keep working?
Because I had no choice. I already knew what happened if I didn't. What did I have to lose? And one of the things that I was so adamant about is I was not going to let somebody else's insecurities dictate the future of my life. Most of the people that was heckling me and judging me couldn't face their own skeleton. So it was easy to judge me because I had a fall from grace. It was easy to justify why I was successful, and they couldn't figure out, like, how's a trainer getting so much attention and getting all these clients? So it had to be a justification. Oh, he really isn't doing that well. He was smuggling drugs behind you see what I'm saying? So I just knew that, like, I'm from my childhood of like, I was adopted. I was sexually abused as a child. I was molested. My mom was a prostitute, was a drug addict. My dad wasn't in my life. All of that stuff, when I hit rock bottom, took me back to my childhood. Like, oh my gosh, like I can't be like my parents. Like, I have kids, man. Like, I have to figure this out. Like, that Eminem Lose Yourself, I listened to that every day on my way to Beachbody when I was in California. No, I got one shot at this. That's it. Like, I don't have a second project. This is all I got. So I knew that I had no choice but to rise above this. Whatever I wanted to create, I had to create it in my mind. And you know what? I was willing to take a leap of faith and be crazy. Let people call me crazy because I felt in my soul that I knew I had a purpose on this earth. I knew it. I knew my purpose was to empower, love, and inspire people, but I had no choice. If I listened to what was said to me all the time, it was just going to keep me where I was at. So my advice to the coaches, dream again. At the end of the day, I used to tell him, I got mad at one of my buddies. He was like, dude, how you going to handle this, man? These people persecute. I said, listen, what they eat don't make me shit. I can't focus on them. You see what I'm saying? I have only thing I have control over is me. I don't have control over what they do. So if I have control over me and the direction I'm going, I'm going to create the most extravagant life I can. The worst going to happen is it don't happen. But shit, I'm going to try. Why not? I know what happens if I don't try. So I started dreaming bigger. I started writing more things down. And when I wrote that letter to myself, guys, that was it. When I literally wrote, I'm talking about every detail of my life. And I read that to myself. So I convinced myself that that was my life. And I swear on my promise on my kids right now, that paper, that letter is manifesting at this very moment. When even to the way that I said I wanted to train people. In the letter I was talking about, I wanted people to get emotional. I wanted them to feel my soul, feel my spirit when I train. What happened in Punta Cana? People were crying. People were being moved. They weren't crying because the workout was hard. They was crying because they had an awakening on the inside. My spirit resonated with their spirit and woke something up in them and gave them hope again, had them believing again, had them dreaming again. That's what it's about right there, man. It ain't about abs and being ripped and lean. It's about fulfilling your purpose on this earth and dreaming so that you can understand your gifts, because behind your gifts and purpose is your wealth, your joy, your success, your love, everything that you truly want for yourself. But if you don't know that, you just out here living recklessly, man. You're just letting life slap you around and letting the people assist who didn't make it slap you around also. But when you get a snapshot, I said in Punta Cana, if you can just get a glimpse, a snapshot of your potential, it'll change your life forever. That's exactly what happened. So people say, well, how can you not be arrogant and puffed up about this? Because you realize when I just came from, I ain't going back to that. On this kind of level of success is the downfall, guys, is horrible. I'm not going back through that, man. And I realize this is bigger than me. My uncle set this before forth a long time ago. I'm walking it out and observing like everyone else is. I'm a fan like everybody else of not myself, of the gift. You see what I'm saying? Someone said to me, are you worried about like people liking you? I said, listen, you guys aren't attracted to Chris Downing. I don't want you to be attracted to me. I got flaws. You're attracted to my gift. That's what you're attracted to. My gift is resonating with each and every person and empowering them to be the best that they can be. It's not about me. I don't care if I'm on a cover or not. That's not it. It's about the gift. It's about the purpose behind the Shift Shop and what it was created to do, period. That's it. Give me a kiss. I can give my daughter a kiss real quick. All right, see you later.
I have another question, and some other coaches have one. I relate to you in the fact that like you feel like you see people's potential. Like I feel like a lot of us as coaches do. When you see somebody's potential, how do you help them bring it out? How do you help somebody bring out their potential that you see, like in a loving coaching way, you know, to help them to get into action on that?
It all starts with, okay, so I'm gonna use for you for an example. If you didn't have any goals, I could fan your purpose right in front of you and you will never see it. The first thing I do with all my clients right now, I refuse. I don't care how much the check is. I refuse to train a person that doesn't have goals. I'll send you down the street to another trainer. I need something to connect to, something to engage with. So all my clients, they either got to do a vision board or they got to bring me a list of goals. Here's the reason, because throughout the training, they're going to get uncomfortable. They're not going to just come and just, you know, blow through the training every session. So when they get down like that, that's when I have to praise, criticize, praise them. That's when I got to empower, love, and inspire them by reminding them of why they're here. But I got to do it. Some people, you got to hold their hand. Some people, it's just certain things you have to say to them. But it's all about, first and foremost, why are you here? Like, what do you really want for yourself? And don't play it safe. Here's another thing. I had a person come to me. They wrote goals down. The goals were safe. I said, I'm still not going to train you. Well, I wrote goals because you played it safe. I want you to think of something supernatural that you really want, something that you had a vision about that you don't believe you can accomplish. That's what I want you to write down. But I'm too old. I'm not training you until you write down what you really want, not what you think you can accomplish. I don't want to be surrounded by people who think they can accomplish something. I want to be around people that have the same crazy mind I have, that all things are possible. Because you know what happens when you get down, you can pick each other up easy. It's so much harder to pick up a person who's constantly whining and crying. You can stick around for a while, but eventually at some point they start weighing you down. So I want people who aren't afraid to leap. Take a leap of faith. Here, write a letter to yourself. Why not? It works. So yeah, that's my advice. With any people you bring into your team, make sure they have goals. When they have goals, guess what? Now they're accountable. They wrote it down. You remind them to them in a loving way, not in a way that judges them to make them think that they're not good enough or that they're not like you. At the end of the day, guys, you don't want somebody to be like you. You want them to be the best version of themselves. I don't want any of my kids to be like me. I want them to be better than me, which is why I named my son Chris Jr., because I wanted him to be the better Chris Downing because of everything I've been through as a child. I wanted to be the father to him that my dad wasn't to me. So I named him after myself. I actually healed myself through my son because I loved on him. I saw myself in him. So I loved on him even more to heal myself, and it worked. So it's just, guys, it all boils down to like everybody on this call has had a vision, has one, everybody. I mean, come on, even before we knew we was dreaming, all of us was walking around here saying we was Barbie and Ken. Am I right? Even as a child, you thought you was Barbie and Ken. Well, what happened to the other dreams? What happened to the ones that you really visualize yourself being everything you wanted to be? You're a coach. You're of influence. The only limit you could put on building your team is the limits that's in your mind. Has nothing to do with another coach. That has nothing to do with it because you create your own team. And how do you create your team? But I tell you what, you want to increase your team, increase yourself first. As soon as you increase yourself, people are going to gravitate to you because they're going to want what you have. They're going to want a portion of who you are to add to their repertoire to build their team. Don't ever compare yourself to another coach. Why? They tie their shoes just like you tie yours. Become a better version of yourself. When you become a better version of yourself, which means you're growing spiritually, physically, financially, mentally, emotionally, you're empowering yourself. When you empower yourself, you're going to get people who need your help. They're just going to come. Come on, guys. There's a hospital in every city. There's a hospital. Go out and get people. No, when people are sick, they run to the hospital. And they upgrade the hospital. They upgrade the technology. It still brings in masses. So why can't you do it? Why? You see what I'm saying? Everything you want for your business, for your family, is not outside of you. Everything you have right now If you look at your family, it's a reflection of what's going on inside of you, the good, the bad, the ugly. You want to increase your circle, increase your family, increase the health, increase the wellness, increase the prosperity, increase your team, increase you first, and watch what happens. Fix those areas in you that's poverty. I don't want to be a wealthy man but still broke. If I can't be wealthy mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially, I'm still broke. I'm just a wealthy man with money. I'm still broke. I'm still not whole. You see what I'm saying? So search yourself. That's my challenge to you guys. Search yourself and everything about you that you want. Whatever's struggling, work on that. When you work on that, I promise you, people are going to come. They have to come because they're searching. Everybody is searching. Why do you think they go to drugs and alcohol? They're searching. They're searching. It's the bottom. It's that simple. So be infectious. Be infectious. And people are going to come. They have to. Yeah. Oh, I got 5 more minutes. Any more questions?
I think people are like, wait, I thought this was about a workout program, but I don't think that a lot of people realize that fitness and mindset and all of it is all the same, and what you bring to your workouts is probably a reflection of what's going on in your mind.
Absolutely. That's what the Shift Shop is all about. Shifting to become the best you can be. Accepting where you are right now. Good, bad, and ugly. This is me. All decisions that I made up until today. This is it. Now, make the shift. What do you want for yourself? That's it. It's no different. Personal develop and working out is the exact same thing. You only going to put the effort in the gym is based on your mind. If you cut corners in your mind, you cutting corners in that workout. You cutting corners in that nutrition. I'm not going to make this more complicated than what it is. Everything is in the mind. Everything is in the mind. Period, man. Period. That's it.
So when somebody looks at this program, they're like, well, I have a knee injury, or I'm 100 pounds overweight, or, I this, I that, all these reasons why, these stories that they have coming up and that they can't do this, or they're afraid to do this. What do you have to say to them? Because I remember you talking to us about that, knee injuries and that kind of stuff. And so I would love for you to speak on that a little bit.
So if there's a person with a knee injury, right? Okay, first and foremost, you felt the complications and the struggles of that. Identify with it. You identify with it every day. This is what my suggestion to you is. Modify the exercises and the physical, right? But every day, visualize yourself without that knee injury. A lot of times when we have injuries, we don't bounce back from them because we become crippled in our mind regarding that situation. Visualize yourself. Now hear me out now. Visualize yourself performing this exercise without that knee injury. Guess what? It may only be for 10 seconds. If you can perform it without modifying for 10 seconds as if you're not injured, guess what? Celebrate that 10 seconds. Because next time it might be 15 seconds. Next time it might be 30 seconds. Next thing you know, it might be that particular exercise. Before you know it, you're performing a whole workout as if you've never been injured. That's how you do it. But in the physical, you got to work that thing out to have the confidence to take a leap. But in the physical, modify. Don't count yourself out the game. Take yourself here. Visualize exactly how you want that knee to perform. If you're overweight, you don't think you can do it, visualize yourself being extremely fit. Visualize it. Even if you don't modify for 10 seconds, embrace that. Celebrate that, man. Celebrate it. Modify until you don't have to modify. That's making the shift right there. Because at some point, you're going to say, you know what? I did this workout. Half of it was modified. The other half, I took a leap of faith. In fact, in the Shift Shop, there was a couple times I said, I even said in a test group, nobody's modifying today. No one's modifying today. Go slower. You don't have to go as fast as everybody else. I don't care if you do 2 reps in that 60 seconds. Don't modify. Take your time. I want you to get the victory in this thing. I want you to get it. Even if it's 1 rep, guess what? That's 1 rep you've never done. Celebrate that. Celebrate it. That's it. It's just that simple. There's a guy right now in the program that has cancer. I mean, people thought I was crazy. He said, what do you suggest? Visualize yourself cancer-free. He said, well, I get winded whenever I do the exercises. Okay, you know what? This is what you do. If you can go 5 seconds, celebrate that 5 seconds. But visualize yourself healthy, whole, cancer-free. And the physical, I need you to eat in reflection of what you see in your mind. You can't eat crap and say you're cancer free. You got to eat based off that vision. You got to perform based off that vision, even if it's for, say you don't even complete the whole workout. So what? You did what you can for 12 minutes. It's over. It's done. You got the victory, period. Heal yourself, man. Heal yourself. Visualize yourself not taking that medication. Heal yourself. He sent me a text message today, told me he just got his last treatment. He ain't getting it no more. So, I mean, it works. Are you worried about something else? No. You know what happens if you don't do it? You're going to die. You're going to die, dude. Why not take a leap of faith? What do you got to lose? Yeah. Welcome to the Shift Shop.
Thank you. Are we out of time? I don't want to.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, let me see. I don't know if they even, I might be 1 more minute. Let me tell them I'm coming.
I can speak real quick while you're doing that. So I had knee surgery a couple years ago, and right after it, the surgeon was like, "You're good to go. Like you can do whatever you want." And I've totally been playing it small these last few years with my Beachbody workouts. I'm like, oh, it's hurting. Oh, like literally for like 2.5 years. And this is the first program that I went all in, and I just was like, I am not going to let this knee stop me, because there's nothing wrong with it. Like he's totally right. Like it was all in my head. I had this fear that I was going to pop the other meniscus or tear the other meniscus. Something else was going to happen on the other knee. Like I just had this whole fear. So I would modify all the time. And so, yeah, Chris says it right in the program. All right, no modifying, like we're not modifying today. And I wasn't anyway, but that I was a little, like in some of them I was like, oh, I can't do that jump. I can't do that hop. I'm going to hurt my knee. And you just have to shift your mind. So yeah.
And you gotta be patient with yourself. Here's the crazy part. Most of the time when you shift that mindset, more complications is going to show up. Identify with it. See it for what it is. Okay, I see you, but guess what? This paper is my life. I know you're here. I know you just made yourself bigger than what it really is. This paper is my life. Be practical, eat healthier, do the best you can do, continue to renew your mind and speak positive words of affirmation. The most powerful place in your house is your bathroom mirror. You know why? Because if I look at you guys right now on this camera and say all kind of derogatory and mean things to you, it's going to affect you emotionally somehow. The mirror is the most powerful place to talk to yourself, because when you point right at yourself. If you're going to listen to everybody else put you down and call you names and make you feel like you don't have any self-worth and value, why can't you empower yourself? Why can't you speak love to yourself? That's not being cocky. That's life, man. That's life. If you don't love you, you can't expect everybody else to love you. You see what I'm saying? You got to empower yourself. You absolutely have to. It's a must. So yeah, go to the mirror, guys. Go to the mirror and speak everything you want for yourself. Tell yourself you are beautiful, you are intelligent, you are more fit than ever. Same thing I said to Jamie on stage. I meant that. I didn't do that for a show. That's how I felt. That's what I wanted her to see. Tell that to yourself. There's nothing wrong with telling yourself that. Why not? You listen to everybody else tell you everything is opposite of it, and it affects you. So you might as well go ahead and affect yourself in a positive light and get everything you're supposed to get for yourself. That makes sense? Okay. I got to scoop. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Sorry for rambling on, but you wanted to know the story. You guys have anything closing?
I feel like
Wow.
you just want more Chris. And so everybody's got to do the program. You want more Chris. And we just appreciate you. Thank you so much for taking the time. I don't want to keep you any longer. Maybe you might have to go to the bathroom or something.
All right, guys. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.